guys wonder why I hate women.
Secure the ballistics.
I might as well get something out of it, right?
My balls from getting bigger, you know.
Bud Sunny, thanks $2. Max Quaza, problem with video game collecting. Okay.
I made a video a few years ago going over the retro video game market, and in that video I talked about my problems with the hobby. But since then, a lot has changed, and now in 2025, things are very different, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So for starters, the big thing to remember was that back in 2020 with COVID, there was a massive boom in pricing for a lot of consumer items, especially video games. Looking at this graph, we can see the spike in pricing caused by people having both more money and time. Coupled with video game collecting becoming more mainstream and constant YouTubers hyping up the hobby, it was really only a matter of time before prices started getting crazy. People who had never really...
It was a fucking scam, though. That shit was all fucking scam. It was an absolute scam. I think he's given way too much credit to like some idea that people were trying old games. It was people reliving their nostalgia because they had nothing better to do while they were locked up.
But it still fetches over $1,000 Canadian at the time of this recording, which is pretty insane when you think about it, because to me, this game, like many other harder to find titles, is simply a hype piece that people collect just to show off. And you know, I'm guilty of that mentality myself.
Zombie Barbecue. Little Red Riding Hood Zombie Barbecue.
As a while back, I bought Zombie Barbecue on the DS because it was a game I had convinced myself into wanting solely due to how rare and expensive it was. Yet after making that purchase, it really did open up my eyes on why having a budget is so important and how to be more realistic with the amount I was spending in general. I look at YouTubers like JRPG Life who encourage people to game hunt on a budget while still going for quality over quantity, and I feel like that mentality has become a...
I was about to make a comment about, you know, just, never mind. Again, it wasn't worth the energy. I was going to say some shit related to women, and then, well, here we go.
It's usually the same kind of people you'd often find in the sneakerhead community who have now set their sights on Pokemon cards, because that's what video game collecting became in 2020. It was no longer about the games themselves, but rather about how rare or expensive they were. With the high volume of YouTube videos, people at home with free...
I mean, the sad thing is, I can relate ever so slightly to the appeal of this, because I've talked about this before. In my early 20s, when I finally had a job, even if it was, you know, a slop job, I did buy a bunch of crap. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if probably about 30 of the games behind me I just bought because I wanted to own some games. I mean, some of the games were games I traded into GameStop. And then, you know, there's a lot more games on the shelf to the left of me as well. But I never saw the appeal in just collecting dog shit for the sake of dog shit. Like, I wanted to play those games. Now, there are some of those I haven't played to this day. Maybe I'll stream a few of the ones. I'll have to take a look at the shelf and just be like, you know, what would be interesting to stream for me? But if, like, you're literally just hunting down a game because it's worth money, I mean, this is like... You're coping, like, it's basically like you need to indulge in your consumerism, but you also have to fool your brain to thinking you're making an investment. It's a video game. It's not actually worth much. You know, I won't say it's worthless. It's not literally worthless because it's still a thing that you have. But in reality, you just want to indulge in consumerism, and the big number trickles the dopamine in your brain.
Time and money during COVID, and the resurgence of popularity in video games in general, the price increase in the retro gaming market now makes a lot more sense. And as these prices moved upwards, so did the mentality of the hobby, which I feel has changed for the better, and that has a lot...
Yeah, GameStop scammed the shit out of me, and my parents let it happen. I mean, I don't completely blame them, but it's a weird situation where I am mad because my parents realistically have given me so little independence in my life. So they allow me to have independence on trading my own games in because they don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? It's not like this wasn't meant to be a teaching moment, even though they cope and say that it is. That it isn't meant to be a teaching moment like, oh, this is your possession. You're only getting this much money, blah, blah, blah. They knew, and I knew, even at the time, because I was a teenager, that it was just me trying to basically the equivalent of getting my next fix, because I was hopelessly addicted to video games for most of my life until I finally got burnt out in my early 20s. The point I'm trying to say here is that if you have to trade in 10 to 15 games to buy one new game, that is not a good value proposition for anyone. I just justify in my head, I'm probably never going to play it again. But then 10 years later, obviously, in less than 10 years, actually, it was probably more like five, in between 5 and 10 years later, I want to play the game again. And so you buy it back again. Thankfully, basically every retro, not even retro in most cases, because PS3 wasn't and isn't retro, but all the older games I bought was before this massive price hike. Even the PS2 games I bought in, what year would that have been? Probably 2018 or something. The shit was cheap as fuck. It was, as is covered in this video, COVID is what skyrocketed all of the older games into being like a collector's game market thing. So I actually did buy a lot of stuff back for pretty cheap, but obviously more than what I got from GameStop.
To do with YouTubers and the consumers themselves. It's pretty clear nowadays that people within the gaming hobby have gotten kind of fed up with people like Phoenix Resale. Now, for a little context, Phoenix Resale is a reseller YouTuber who is best known for entering
pre-owned 8th gen games are still dirt cheap. That's good, I guess. So instead of paying the FromSoft tax digitally, you can get Dark Souls 3 for $9. Yeah, I guess it's only anything perceived as retro, so pre-HD era is the stuff that's really overpriced. I mean, Devin, I think, has already said this on stream multiple times, but Devin, he got an N64 for like $20, and this was in 2013, I want to say, probably around there. He got an N64 for $20 in like 2013. So the shit is all artificial bullshit, just nostalgia garbage.
Mentions early and buying up all the inventory, and then also using Amazon to sell his video games for way over their market value. He basically embodies what is wrong with the hobby, and within the past few years, more and more people have started to speak out against this kind of behavior. One of those key people being Heckin' Steve, who is slightly controversial depending on who you talk to, but regardless is a passionate person when it comes to video game collecting, and I really do think that him and others within the community provide a very strong message about enjoying the hobby itself and not just always seeing it as an opportunity to turn a quick profit or fill up your shelf. I feel the overall mentality that people have for the video game collecting hobby has gotten a lot better in recent years, and it's only going to improve as people continue to speak out about the negatives and provide advice on how to collect, which is exactly what you want. Which leads me into the final part.
See, the thing is, like, this is a good example right here. I remember this was back when gamers had standards. You know, since we're so polluted down by normal f***s now, this would never happen if it came out today. Well, someone would make a video essay and that'd be it. But like with these games, right? I think pretty much everyone agrees that the Silent Hill HD collection is probably one of the worst ports ever of all time. So, like, what's the point of even collecting it? Just to say you have it? You know what I mean? Like, it's the shittier versions of 2 and 3.
Which is exactly what you want. Which leads me into the final part of this video on why now is a better time than any to jump back into video game collecting. The reasoning for this is based on a few upsides, with the first one being pricing stability. The past few years
Hold on. That's a good example right there. I wonder, how much do you think a used copy of Metroid Prime goes for now? I don't feel like looking it up. I'll just tell you, it's many times more than what I got it from. Me and Devin got Metroid Prime 1 and 2 from GameStop. Prime 1 was $4. $4 used. This is back in, I don't know, probably 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. One day I'm going to have a yard sale, and I'm not going to sell my games. Even if I don't value owning them like I used to, I'm still not going to sell them.
based on a few upsides, with the first one being pricing stability. The past few years have been pretty turmoil, and now things are finally starting to settle down, which means you don't have to worry as much about price drops.
Like 30
as it
used
seems
on
less
eBay.
people
Oh,
are
that's not too
currently
bad.
buying, which ties into the second upside, and that's physical availability. Less people buying means there's more to go around, and that increase in availability means you can get some decent deals, and you stand a good chance at finding what you're looking for out in the wild. And speaking of what you are looking for, now is one of the best times to start buying games for certain consoles, which is my third upside. Systems like the PlayStation 4 and Wii are still very affordable, and they offer games that you can't find anywhere else. But again, it's always important.
Oh, oh, is that going against the old internet meme that the PS3 has no games? It does have games. It does have games. They just were not as nearly as popular as, you know, shit like Halo and Gears of War.
To remember to collect what you actually want to play, as you might have a complete
I can't believe that this guy felt that needed to be said. If you're at the point that you're collecting dog shit games that you have no intention of playing, I don't think someone online, you know, random stranger telling them is going to change their mind.
64 set, but if you don't actually like the system, then what was the point of collecting it at all? So it's best to always go for what you like and ignore the hype that you see online, as gaming is not just about numbers and rarity, but also about playing the games and enjoying them. And well, that is where I'm going to end.
$30 was for the Switch version. Metroid 2 is listed at near 300. A used Prime 2 is 300. Let me see what I got it for. $10. I got Prime 2 for 10. Yeah, see, the collector's market shit is just, I don't know, man. Like, on some level, I get you could make the capitalist argument, supply and demand type shit, but it feels way too artificial. It's like, yeah, I get it. You guys all got locked up for 2 years. You wanted to relive all your games, and you're too stupid to emulate, I guess, or you got psyoped into wanting to own the stuff or something. But, I mean, come on. It feels like it. Never mind. Let's just move on. I don't like investment shit. And I'm not even talking about, like, clear scams like NFTs or like, loot box stuff when you don't even really own anything. Because at least when you collect games, you do own the game. But it's just, you're fucking just blowing money for no reason.
Things off for now. I could go on and on about this topic, but I really did try and condense some of my key thoughts into this video, and I tried to avoid making a long-winded rant. I haven't made a discussion video in quite some time, so I thought it would be fun to just do a small one, as this topic has been on my mind for a while now. But as always, I'm sure I missed some stuff, so if you have any ideas or suggestions, I'm always happy to read them down in the comments below, regardless of if they are positive or negative. And with all of that said, I just want to say thank you so much for watching my content. It really does mean a lot to me. I hope you have a great day or night. I will see you very soon. Take it easy.
Well, that was a vid. I mean, it was okay, I guess, if only just because it stirred up some old memories, but I think the vid itself was kind of meaningless. I don't know.